guys, it's Dr. George, and it has been so incredible, so long, about 3 months. And so I know a couple of you are coming in now, and I'm getting my page set up so I can watch my comments from my personal page. And it's been a long time. So if I don't have a lot of people getting on, I understand. And I hope you get on, Mike. But this is my first one, and today is February 1st. It's the first day of Black History Month. And this guy seems to make it during all the big times in my life, Mr. Frank Murphy. And he always brings a friend. And the book tonight is Fearless Heart, an illustrated biography of Surya Bonlay. Now, I probably said her name wrong, but they're going to help me, because remember, boys and girls, I always say if you need help with a word, it's okay to ask. So I'm going to get my special guests in the screen. So hi, Frank, and hi, Anastasia. Hello, how are you?
Hi. Happy to be here.
Hi, old friend, Dr. George. Good to see you in person.
Yes.
Virtually.
And so, hi, Camille. So I say hello to everyone. And guys, I'm having a little bit of problem with my screen. So I am going to get on my phone so I can see the comments that they're putting on the side, because the little bar we talked about earlier is blocking. So I'm going to get my phone so that I can see what you guys are typing, so that I can put it on the screen. So give me a tap. But before I start, Frank, tell them a little bit about yourself.
I am a teacher of 30 years, as you know, and some of your guests maybe saw me before a couple times on here. I teach sixth grade in a K-6 school, northwest of Philly. I was born in California. I live here now. I've got two sons who go to the University of Pittsburgh. They're 22 and 23. I have a stepdaughter who's 20, who's studying to be a teacher just like me. My wife is a nurse. I have two amazingly cute puppies, and I write kids' books along with teaching. And my most recent book, I collaborated with Anastasia, who's here as the artist, and Surya Bonlay. That's how you pronounce her name, Dr. George. Surya, and then Bonlay. She is a world famous retired figure skater.
Now that is awesome. So I want to say hello to Kylie. Kylie's in London, and it's the middle of the night. So good morning, I think. It's morning, Kylie, I think. And Miss McPherson, she said, woohoo, Dr. George. So a pleasure to see you also. Anastasia, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so yes, my name is Anastasia. I live in Clearwater, Florida. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and a lot of my family still lives there. I illustrate, and I do occasionally author children's lit, mid-grade, kid lit. I love Black history, of course. I love writing about Black excellence and stories. I live here with my husband. We have our little cozy house. We have no pets yet, but we have a bunch of plants. And yeah, I just do that. I just illustrate. I've recently been able to just do what I love, and it's been amazing.
Absolutely love that. And Kylie said it's 1:30 a.m. That's morning, girl. That's morning. And I have to tell you a funny story about Kylie. She found me on here, and she tells me this wonderful story how we actually put her to sleep. So she has
like a bedtime story.
A hard time falling asleep. So she gets on and she goes to sleep. So I love that, Kylie. Sweet. And I actually got to meet her. And even though I knew she was in London, when I heard her talk, I said, I didn't know you talk like that. She said, you don't sound the way I thought you'd sound, even though she hears me every Tuesday. So I got a couple of people to say hello to. Hello, Angela. Teresa, hello. Thank you, Miss Hanks. Hello. And Tony McPherson says she was an amazing skater. Yes, she was.
Absolutely.
So let me get the book out. So we have Fearless Heart. And if you want to hold it up, Anastasia, and show the covers while I read. Frank, if you want to show it up and be Vanna, I'm
going to take it all in and watch both of you.
He's going to take it all in.
I'm just going to hold it like this the entire time.
So it's an illustrated biography. Tell me the name again.
Surya. Go ahead, Anastasia.
Surya Bonlay.
Surya Bonlay.
Yes.
Okay. Every time I mess up, you fix it. By Frank Murphy. That's him in the corner. By Surya Bonlay, with Surya Bonlay, and art by Anastasia McGlure
Williams.
McGlure Williams. McGlure is so pretty.
Oh,
gosh, you better snatch that name up, McGlure. That's a beautiful name. Hello, Robert. So Let's get started. And remember, I don't read the book until the night of, and Frank signs every single one of my books every time. And it says, for Belinda, a fearless friend, educator, and human, love, Frank Murphy, 2021. I think this is my 5th book signed by you. So I've always read the series. What do you call your series, Frank?
Like You.
Like You. He has the Like You series,
Boy Like
right?
You,
A
Girl
teacher
Like You, Teacher Like You,
a
yeah.
girl like you, a boy like you. I don't want to tell a title.
No, so there's a boy like you, a girl like you, a friend like you, a teacher like you, a friend like you, and coming out soon in the summer is a different slant on the series, is A Planet Like Ours, and then A Family Like Ours.
That's what I didn't want to give that title away in case I had dibs to it, you know. So here we go. And this is Anastasia's work right there. I'm going to turn on this light because the ring light is kind of putting a glare on everything. So that's her artwork. I mean, and I'm always so amazed with authors and illustrators because I thought, you know, they just run a print through there, you know, but you work. How long did it take you for this book, Frank?
I wrote this book I started writing it as a poem in the winter of 2018, and then it grew. I wanted to grow it into a picture book, and then I sort of tracked Surya down. And it was really cool. I interviewed her in front of my 6th grade class. So we had her on a speakerphone, and all my 11 and 12-year-old kids, and I interviewed her. And then I interviewed her multiple times on the phone. And then I hung out with her in Harlem for half of a day when they shot her Netflix documentary there. It's the only time I think I've been with her in person. But we've spent a lot of time on the phone getting to know each other. And so 4 years later, it's out. And it takes a long time. The pandemic was the biggest thing that slowed it down. And then they actually wanted to release it, Triumph Books, right before the Winter Olympics. And I can't remember, Anastasia, if the Winter Olympics were delayed or not, but it's the perfect timing that it came out like 3 or 4 weeks before the Winter Olympics.
Yeah, they timed it that way on purpose. I don't remember if it got delayed for sure. I think probably slightly it did. But yeah.
So it takes a long time.
Now, what about the illustrations?
It took about almost a year, I want to say. Basically, from in the beginning, it's kind of more like just a conversation more than I'm actually drawing. I'm just like talking to Frank. I spoke with Surya too, and just getting her feedback and just doing research, looking at pictures of her, looking at footage of her skating from the various Olympic games, just kind of familiarizing myself with her and her face and her movements and her mannerisms and her emotions before I really started to sketch. And then there was just sketches that I did that were just preliminary sketches, not really specifically for like the book, just me figuring it out. And I still shared that with Frank. I shared that with Triumph. I was just showing them what I was doing and just getting those green lights, like, great, you're nailing it, keep going. And then I went page by page. I do a rough draft. And then if those get the blessing, I go on to final art. So yeah, it took about, I want to say like 9 months to a year, give or take.
Which is daunting, Anastasia, because you're painting someone, you're illustrating someone who is alive and she's there. And I think I remember you told me like, it's a little scary to do someone who's here and approve of those illustrations.
Yeah, I've done illustrations of people who are like in Black history who have passed. So doing illustrations of people who are still living and just can like look at it and say like, hey, like I need to kind of validate this as this is supposed to be me. That is kind of intimidating. So
she was cool with every iteration you did.
Yeah. Yeah, Surya was great. She was great.
You captured her perfectly. You really did.
Thank you.
Well, we'll see in just a second, but I wanted to say hello to Camille, Miss Oliver, Miss Fehrenbacher. They're on my personal page. You can't see it. Hi, Melvin, my husband in there. Hey, Melvin. Miss Fehrenbacher said hello to Dr. George and guest. She's a retired art teacher. Hi, Connie. Hi, Tracy. And Miss Oliver says she needs to check out those books, and we'll tell you where to buy those. Hi, Mabry and Miss Duke and Miss Nunn and your little one in the oven. Your little bun. So here we go. Her Dawn, December 15, 1973. A beautiful baby girl named Claudine is born in Nice, France. Adopted 18 months later by a man and woman, Suzanne and George Bonlay, and Claudine became their son, their star, their tell me.
Surya.
Surya. So thank you for sharing the pictures. Her dream. By 10 years old, Surya knew she wanted to spend her life on the ice every day, all day. She knew she would be like her coach, a national champion. She loved the joy of her skates, scratching the ice, the freedom of flying in the air and floating above the frozen white ice. She practiced all that she saw. One skate helped her jump higher. The other helped her glide gracefully, double axels, triple toe loops, and spins again and again and again. She didn't always finish first, so she worked harder and harder, and soon Surya.
Uh-oh, did we lose her?
Oh, she blooped out. I think she did say that might happen.
Yeah, I wonder if everyone's here. I'm not sure.
Oh, she's back. Oh, you're muted, Dr. George. You're muted.
There we go.
There you go.
Thank you, guys. And soon Surya.
Yeah.
I want to say Surya. Surya's young career became filled with first place. Her rise, European champion 5 straight times, and 13 more times she was ranked number 1. Surya was named French champion 9 straight times. Around the globe, the hearts of children leaped with ice skating dreams, and they imagined themselves spinning and looping like fire, like the sun, and radiant gold like Surya. Striking a pose, then taking off with tremendous speed, hurling into jumps, soaring through the air with power and pride and precision, jump after jump after jump, wanting to be the combo queen of the ice, wishing and working, stepping, gliding, running into original jumps, handsprings, and even backflips. And brilliant and bedazzled costumes, electric colored eyeshadow, passion in her heart. Surya was determined to be the first Surya, the only Surya. There ever will be, there ever was. That page gave me a little bit of chill. I'm just saying. It's very passionate. Mabry is here and she missed me so much. Welcome back. Very special hearing from the author and illustrator. Yes, Tracy, this is one of my favorite parts. I always get nervous because it's a little intimidating. You're reading their book and they know every word and she knows every picture and I got to get it right. A little intimidating.
You're doing
Dr.
great.
George, after all this time together, you should not be nervous, girl. Not with me.
So her judges, they said there are rules in figure skating, ways a skater is supposed to be, to move, to speak, to look. They said she should look like everyone else, skate like everyone else. She should score high if she followed their rules. But Surya didn't follow, and her innovation was not allowed. The judges couldn't deny Surya her technical merit, but they never rewarded her artistry. They said she has to work on her grace. She needs to stop jumping and learn to skate. There's raw talent, but she's not refined. But her fans knew what her critics wouldn't say out loud. The judges didn't want a Black figure skater. I wasn't expecting this turn. Skating the way she wanted, and maybe they didn't want a Black figure skater at all. The judges said she's too muscular. She isn't elegant enough. They said her skates don't sound right as they carve the ice. So Surya made a choice. And Ms. Duke said, Ms. Fehrenbacher said, loved watching the Olympics with her mom, especially figure skating. She loved how graceful and precise they were on ice. And Ms. Duke said, just be you, perfect always. So therefore, thankful that I'm back. Yes, Ms. Duke, I am. her strength. After years of hearing her critics, the noise, not graceful enough, you skate in straight lines, you need to create circles, and worst of all, second place. Second place. Soraya's heart grew stronger. She refused to quit. She fought back the only way she knew she could. She practiced, practiced, and practiced, and practiced more. And she decided to learn to skate like they said she should sound. Her powerful jumps remained, but with softer glides that whispered across the white ice, silent and barely heard, with a promise in her heart to what it would take to make her dream come true, to become the next champion of the world. And now there would be no more excuses. The judges couldn't complain about her skating, not being artistic, not full of grace. She would skate quietly, strong the next time she entered the world stage. Oh, man. Now I'm like, what's going to happen? Her moment, 1994, the year I graduated, Japan World Championships. With her hopeful heart, more than ready this time to become the #1 figure skater in the world. She started with a double axel, then triple, triple, triple. Her skates did whisper across the ice and her body floated with grace. Her spins tight, her spins fast, and her turns rounded circles. Surya skated the most magnificent routine of her life. 4.5 minutes of pure grace and great power on the ice. The scores tie between Surya and the skater from Japan. The judges would vote to decide second place. The judges voted 4-5 in favor of Surya being second place. She did not win. Again, hi, David. Hi, Ms. Mark. The announcer called out the winner's name first. She skated out to the cheers of her home country. The announcer called out Surya's name second, and the crowd waited. The world waited, and reluctantly she arrives. Surya skated onto the white ice, her heart frozen. She raised her arms to the cheering crowd. She skated to the first place skater. Surya honored her, kissing each cheek and smiling. She skated to the podium meant for second place. And then Surya arrived, but refused to stand on that second place podium. The official presented the first place skater with the gold medal. The official looked towards Surya. He hesitated and hesitated. He motioned to Surya to step upon the podium. I almost show this picture because that picture right there is so powerful. I love that picture. Surya resisted. She stood her place. He stepped toward her. He placed the silver medal around her neck. He shook her hand and then pulled her, forcing her up onto the podium. My phone. Surya stood. She knew she did not belong on a second place podium, not on this day. And with her broken heart, she pulled the silver medal off her neck. The crowd gasped. But freedom raised Surya's chin a little higher. She held the medal and ribbon at her side, tangled in her hands like her. Surya's eyes filled with heaviness of her missing first place finish. Tears streamed down, and Surya gracefully wiped the tears from her face. Surya knew she was not second place. Surya Bonlay was not second place. Right or wrong, wrong or right. Her emboldened, did I say that right?
Yep.
Her emboldened, Melvin goes, yeah, from the other room. Heart would not honor the judge's decision to again label her second place. The crowd of reporters were waiting, their words echoing and ringing in Surya's ears. Why? Surya, why? Are they unfair to you, Surya? Surya, why did you not accept the medal? What was the problem? Surya's answers were not in her words. They could only be found in her tears. At the moment, each one finally landed on the frozen white ice. and became nothing where no one was looking. 1995 England, world championships again, determined again, hopeful again, but second place again. Her fearless heart, 1998, Nagano, Japan, the Olympics. Suraya's Achilles, right? Achilles, thank you, because you know how you know words and you never saw them in print.
Yes.
Boys and girls, that happens. But I'm going to keep going. Dr. Knight said, wow, so great to see you back. Yes. Her heart fearless again. Surya wanted to skate among the best one last time. Surya struck a pose, and then she took off. Triple toe, half loop, triple sail, and Surya stumbled and fell. Feels like I'm watching it. Surya got up, full of grace. She kept skating, persisting with speed, beauty, and heart, fearless. She determined herself to show that she could land that triple Salchow. Is that right?
Salchow.
What is it?
Salchow.
Salchow. I guess I'm going to know what that is in just a bit. So, hello. Surya raced into it, spinning and soaring into triple Salchow, proving to everyone that she can land it. And Surya fought through the pain, and her skating continued, determined. Deep inside, her heart spoke to her. I need to do this. She spun to her left, skating backward, clenched her fists, lifted her arms to the sky. Surya leaned forward, bending her left leg, threw her arms behind her, and catapulted her body upside down. Frank, you built it. Thought she landed it into the, I'm not finished. Hold on, the girl's catapulted her body upside down into the air, almost magically, her legs backward and forward into a split position. She spun around and landed on just one skate. Surya continued skating backward on just one skate. Smiling, Surya's smile shined and the crowd gasped and then erupted, cheering loudly, and they kept cheering and cheering. Surya finished skating, pleasing her fans first. She faced the roaring crowd with her back to the judges. Surya knew by accomplishing this historic backflip, landing on just one skate, she had stayed true to herself, to her heart, her fearless heart, her trademark. That was intense. Oh, I need some water, Melvin. A move no one had ever accomplished, not then, not since. Her first place finish, unstoppable, unrepeatable. And Surya whispered in her soul as she turned to face the judges, they will never forget me now. What a great book. And look, he brought me water because it was that intense. This book, Frank, you nailed it like 1,000,001 times. Anastasia, and the crowd goes wild. So Debbie goes, love this book. Keep going and be your best. Great message here. Miss Oliver says, I love the meaning. Miss Fehrenbacher says, love the illustrations of her skating. So moving. Miss Tracy says, beautiful story and illustrations. Hi, Miss Scott. So yes, the crowd is definitely going wild there. So there's more about her here, and there's an actual picture of her. Am I getting it right?
Yeah, you had it.
Actual picture of her, and there's a little bit of historic facts in the back. That she did the backflip on one skate in the Olympics in 1998, and she retired from competitive amateur skating and went on to have an active professional career skating with freedom, athleticism, and grace in various ice shows and events. And finally, without the intense judging and regulation of competitive skating, Surya could perform flips and combinations to her heart's content and to the contentment of her enraptured audience. Today, she works as a skating coach in Minnesota. She passes on her passionate love of skating and her fearless spirit to her students, who continue to inspire her in turn. Alongside coaching, she's an active philanthropist, activist, and public speaker. So, fun facts. Many of her colorful, iconic outfits were made by her mother, Sue Ann. Wow, Mom. That's awesome. Surya excelled in gymnastics before choosing to focus on figure skating, her true passion. The name Surya is Sanskrit. Is it Sanskrit? Sanskrit.
Sanskrit.
Her son. Surya is the first and only skater to land a backflip on one skate. Surya is known as the combination queen. She was the first female skater to attempt many combinations, most deemed too difficult or risky. And then there's a picture of her and Lucky Frank. Got to take a picture with her. She's very busy, or else she would have been here. And Miss Oliver says she loves your pictures. And Anastasia, who's here, and she has beautiful braids in her hair in there. I love the ombre. She has that. And then the publisher is Triumph Books. So remember, we don't ever read books without the author's or publisher's consent. And thank you, Frank, for giving me this consent. Now here's the test to see if you really wrote the book. What is your favorite part, Frank?
My favorite part is, let me show you. Hold on 1 second.
Okay. He's going to go.
I think I know.
You think you know? Okay. He's going. So you guys get some behind the scenes stuff in his house. He's running out to get it.
I have a lot of favorite parts. I love the end sheets that Anastasia did, because it's like throughout the book you can find some of those things. But I'll show you my favorite picture. So my favorite
I know what this is. I'm almost sure I know what this one is.
Yeah, you know. There's so many. I love them all. I think I have it memorized where it is, right?
I have my favorite page just in case we're in sync.
I know he has like two favorites, so I don't know which one he's gonna pick, but I have a feeling that I know because of where it is in the book. And he's trying to find it.
So I actually have like, this is ridiculously beautiful. To me, this is the greatest picture. She's up in the sky. The way that Anastasia imagined this, and the great thing was I had a lot of freedom with the words, and I want to show kids that they can write in free verse, even tell a biography, and do fun things with words with white space, on the page, and be creative with jump and other areas too, where it says like floating and stuff. So that's my favorite one. Of course, I love the cover and the backflip too. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Love that. What about yours, Anastasia?
This one is my favorite too.
Yeah.
Like, I was painting it, and I didn't originally have the background be like the sky. And as I was painting it, I was just like, it's missing something, and I just did that. It wasn't in the sketches. But once I did it, I was like, oh yeah, this is it. Like this is the exact way it needs to show like kind of like a child's reaching for the stars kind of thing.
So this is Ms. Fehrenbach, I say an incredible book. So this is my favorite part of the book, my favorite picture in the book, because I think this was her turning point, and so many of us have experienced this picture here, Anastasia.
Yeah.
Because it looks exactly like Surya too. If you watch the video of her crying at that moment, Anastasia captured her perfectly.
If you make a poster of it, I need a poster, because it is phenomenal. I love that.
There's something else really cool, Dr. George and everyone listening. It's really subtle. You may not notice it. Me being a man, I think I don't always notice things, but it's easy with Anastasia's to notice. There's these sketches in the back that are like this, what do you call it? So like sepia or?
Yeah, I did like a sepia tone on like this. This is how I sketched. These are the original sketches that I talked about earlier that I just did just to get gestures and explore her movement.
And the fact that they appear here is amazing.
Yeah, I figured like why not just include them at the end, instead of a blank paper. Like I think that'd be cool to have like my sketches. Rarely do you see those kinds of sketches in a finished book.
It's really true. It adds a dimension, Anastasia. That's just like, to me, I love the backstory of the art and the marriage of the text and everything we did together. And we really were lucky because Triumph let Anastasia and I just really have a lot of freedom. Like Anastasia designed the book. She wrote the back matter, which was amazing. I mean, you did, right, Anastasia?
Yeah. I used to be a graphic designer. So when Triumph was like, hey, do you mind like laying the book out? I said, yeah, that's fine. Like it was really nice to just kind of have the art and the text, and like I get to just place.
Yeah, and the team at Triumph was great because they just allowed me a lot of latitude. And Surya had some input with the text, but she really never had me change anything. There's one line that's really hers. She wanted me to make sure that I put in that she was the combo queen, and that appears, and that's really her. Says she's very humble and very gentle and kind and generous, and she's like, I love it all. I just want one thing in here, and she approved of everything, so it was great.
Love that. Hi, Miss Betty, and I will say this. So right now, if you could have a lesson from the book, what would it be? What is your biggest takeaway from the book? Let me let you go first, Anastasia, and I'm going to let Frank go last, because sometimes I've read so many books with the author's intent for it to be something else, and it's totally what other people get. So what is your biggest lesson from this book?
I think that at least that's what I would want the takeaway to be. At least the takeaway for me was the story and Surya's story. I think a lot of Black children and Black people can relate to this, where it's like, don't let other people define who you are, like, or decide that you're not allowed to be somewhere, or that you're too much of something to be somewhere. I think that's what Surya was really, what she was trying to prove, that she was like, this is me and I'm good enough, and you don't get, like, it's not fair for you to say I'm too strong for this, or I'm too athletic for this, or I'm not soft enough. Like, I am enough. I think that's what that story is about.
I love that. My biggest takeaway from this book, and it was amazing. Like I tell you, this is my first time opening, and thank y'all for helping me with the words I struggled with, because I would have rehearsed it if I know they had these words in here. But I wanted kids to see that it's okay to mess up. But I would say my biggest takeaway from this book is pushing past our limits. We all have limitations. And once she realized what hers was, she didn't stop, and she didn't change her career. She didn't change her passions. She stayed in it, and she made them realize that even though she looked the same way in the beginning when they didn't like her, she stayed, but she didn't change her image. She just practiced more and became better. So remain who you are and just become better. That is my biggest takeaway, and I'm taking it from me because I needed this. This is like my Bible tonight. So Frank, what was your intent for everyone to get?
You both know, probably I could go on for 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Because this went through many different iterations for me. It was much longer. I started with a poem, and the poem that appears on the jacket there, Anastasia, actually, she should have given herself credit. We sort of rewrote it together. And there's just so many things, Dr. George, I could say, but I'll say these few things in short little snippets. Clearly what Anastasia was saying, Black excellence is still needed so much in children's literature. Kids need to see themselves in books. All the little brown-skinned Black girls around the world, she's international, Surya, need to see themselves here. And I didn't want her story to get lost, like so many Black excellence stories have gotten lost over the years. Although I don't think hers was lost, because there's 2 documentaries about her, and every Winter Olympics, she sort of resurfaces. And Anastasia and I talked about this with Simone Biles, her trying that incredible wild move, and they judged her down too with that. And, you know, the things that Black athletes can do, and any athlete can do sometimes, and they're restricted for different reasons. This book was originally titled "The Ice is Always White," but that was a little too much, and I needed some non-white friends to tell me that. So we changed the title, and I really love Fearless Heart, because a little bit of the story, not to get too deep, a little bit was about me, and I didn't realize it, because I felt, here's what happened. I studied hours and hours and hours of footage of Surya's skating, from radio mostly to television broadcasts, and I kept finding, and it was really easy to find. I don't want to get too deep, Dr. George, with your younger viewers, but I kept finding so much, anywhere ranging from just bias to implicit bias to like racism, about the way that she looked and the way that she acted. And I was eventually getting mad, and it was starting to frame the way I wrote the longer version of this poem. And I needed to like back off and be like, okay, this isn't about me being angry again about all these people that I know in history and I know in my life. who are suppressed or oppressed or whatever. And then I had to rethink it and be like, okay, this is about her heart. And what you said, Dr. George, her perseverance. So I went all along there, but Black excellence, being the authentic you that you are and not changing, and, you know, remaining humble through it all, because Surya's always remained humble through all of this.
Yeah,
You have to
she
remember,
has.
she was 16 years old when she
So
refused to get on
young.
that podium. 16 years old.
Yeah, and hearing her talk about it now is very humbling too. Like, I mean, I just really loved that the story was, she was involved, because I think what also tends to happen over time is that people tell your story for you.
Yeah.
You know, like people tell Surya's story and they have their own agenda and they're just like talking over her a little bit sometimes. And for her,
Anastasia,
she was just
what,
like,
it's interesting you say that, Anastasia, because actually her 30 for 30, she didn't like that they called it Rebel on Ice, and that she didn't view
really?
herself necessarily as a rebel. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, I know she said, like, for her, she was just a kid. So, like, she wasn't doing it with this, like, I'm gonna be this symbol, you know, of Black resilience against, you know, like, yes, that's what happened, but she didn't do that knowing that. She was just like, I just want to skate. I just want to skate and be myself, you know? So I think sometimes I was really eager to talk to her and hear her perspective. And I love that we were able to do that, because I think that that's really important, is that we don't talk over Surya, and we are working with her to tell her story the way she remembers it, the way she actually felt, and not us like assuming how she felt. So
I absolutely love that. And no, you didn't go too deep. The kids have conversations now, and I'm like, I don't know what to say. But I want to say hello to Kat and Ms. McCrae. She's a teacher at Amelia. She said, awesome, I plan to share with my second grader. So I have my iPad behind me, so that's why you see me reaching past it. But I always like to leave the kids with a word, something you would like to leave them with that resonates with this book. I'll let you go first, Frank.
Just one word, or do I get two?
Oh, you get 27.
Be you. That's it.
Love it.
In capital letters with an exclamation point, with a ... with an ellipsis, so it goes on forever. That you, like Surya, you know what? She immortalized herself with that move. No one really remembers who won the gold medal that year. They remember her backflip.
I love that. I love that. Anastasia?
this one.
Fearless. Love that. My words, as I always say to you guys, before I say that, I have to show this. I don't know how. So they have me all motivated. I couldn't even roller skate, but I won these from Frank. I had to bring these out. These are like my bragging, you know.
Cool.
This is a pair of skates I won because you had to do a little contest with Frank. And I won, and there's autographs. And I remember a lot of the skaters. I'm much older than my kids at the school, but I remember a lot of the skaters, and to just touch where they wrote, it's phenomenal. And if my foot was any smaller and I didn't have this bunion surgery, I would risk it all to put it in these shoes. And so even touching the blade, I had never touched ice skates in my life. Like, I've used them at the Galleria or things like that, skating, but never just with these little, they don't give you these at the Galleria with these little spikes on the front.
Oh, the toe picks.
Yeah, they don't give you that.
Yeah, that's how they do the jumps.
Yes, and this, I also have this little collector's card here. And I also have her signature here. And this is saying right here, I have a little letter. I don't have my letter with me, but I also have this little pen. I know that I have. So, boys and girls, Dr. George grew up as a little Black girl in a trailer, 6 girls, a mom and a dad, 3 bedrooms. And I am now Dr. Belinda George, living my dream, reading the kids every night. And boys and girls, I just never want you to give up on your dreams. And remember, if nobody else tells you, Dr. George loves you. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Thank you.
Just pause because I'm on the phone. Oh, there we go.